Rise of the Divine and Feminine, go live. We're live now on YouTube. Just waiting for people to jump on. Saying done.
I'm just feeling all the beauty. I'm just, yeah, it's amazing. I love it, I love it, I love it.
Yep, we are live. Just waiting for some people to jump on.
Good job, girls. Good job. They tried to stop us.
Yep, I know. Sorry for being late. I'm still.
Well, we are starting at 1:11, by the way, my time.
Oh my God! Look, this was divine timing.
So, divine, right?
So come, there we go. People are 25 people.
Good job.
We have.
They tried to stop us.
Yep, I know. Sorry.
Delay, replay, something happening.
I'm like, I can hear myself.
So I think most people are watching this on the replay, so I feel like it'd be really cool.
We've got enough people on now. Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you. It is just an absolute honor to be with three incredibly beautiful, inside and out, powerful, very highly conscious women. I'm not going to take all the credit for this because this show, The Rise of the Divine Feminine, was inspired by the lovely Lucy, who I've done a few shows with on my channel. A lot of you will know. Amelia, I'm so happy to be sharing this space for the first time with you. It's an honor and blessing. And Jen, you were a hit, all of you. It's just absolutely amazing to be here. So the rise of the divine feminine and the rebellion begins, which was what Amelia said. Where and why are we here today? Lucy, over to you.
Thank you, beautiful. So first and foremost, Alpa, thanks for allowing us to go live on your YouTube. And Amelia, Jen, Alpa, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. As you girls know, a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I keep getting this download. We need to do this video together. And I know respectively, you guys have been trying to organize things behind the scenes anyway. So what an incredible time to be on here today doing this. And just a quick little bit from where this came from. So as a lot of you will know, I work with Amelia on Empress Evolution, which is all about the rise of the divine feminine. It's all about empowering that feminine energy back on the planet to really catapult the healing and to help us get through this phase, for want of better words, that we are currently going through on the planet. And what I've been being shown massively in the last couple of weeks is it really is time for us to be stepping up. And I'm not just talking about us girls, because it's very easy to think, oh, women divine feminine, men divine masculine. It's actually about empowering both of these energies and releasing any of the toxicity. And I know Amelia's going to talk about this in a short time. It's about releasing the toxicity within feminine and masculine and actually finding that balance and bringing it into harmony. And that is why I was like, girls, we've got to do this. And then, you know, as we were saying earlier, I said to Amelia, I feel like I've got to wear white. And Amelia's like, we've all got to wear white, you know. So
and then you called me and I was wearing white.
And it's because we need to bring in this angelic, pure energy.
Absolutely.
And we haven't had the purity at all in the last 26,000 years. So Amelia, I'm going to throw it over to you first, if that's okay, because I know a short time ago, you and I were actually talking about the toxicity we were talking about the masculine, but actually I think it's probably fair that we talk about the toxicity in both of those. And then Jen, it would be great to get your perspective in if we kind of like go round on a point and then we come back and we move on, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And the energy just feels so amazing. And I feel guided to say that I feel very much that this live, this recording is very much for the men and women that have been doing the work, that are waiting to know what's next. What do we do now? You know, that they want the upgrade, they want the next level of knowledge. They don't want another rehash of what a lot of life coaches are talking about, you know, just the same thing, all boundaries and emotional intelligence, and it just feels boring and repetitive. So I feel very much like this is going to be about fresh and new information, and information for those that have been doing the work, those that do remember us from Atlantis, those that came down here to do the work, and they want to know what's next. What do we do? You know, so yes, very much. I received a download. My angels did it while I was at the gym. So I'm like in the middle of doing box jumps and they're like sending this into me. I'm like, great, good timing. But basically what I was told was something very interesting, which is that, you know, we know intuitively and in all ways that the feminine have like a healing energy, that we have this healing ability. You know, it's all, you know, you think about like growing plants, growing animals, you know, like looking after pets and raising children. It's all been about, you know, women healing. What I was actually told today is that men innately have a healing energy, and that what's happened is that, and we actually need the healing energy that these men give. And I'm not talking about just divine masculines, I'm talking about just regular rough and ready masculines. They have a healing energy. And what's happened on this planet, and it's been an ongoing process over 400,000 years, has been to invert that, so that instead of healing us, they hurt us. And so what's happened is that now what I'm beginning to realize is that as the women come into their goddess energy, their goddess, empress, queen energy, yes, it's wonderful if you have a divine masculine in your life, but actually the divine masculines are being targeted very much by the spiritual warfare right now. So actually the rough and readies, they still have this healing energy, but it's all about the women allowing what they will allow. And so this is really, really important, because again, you know, there's a lot of, when you look at like relationships on the earth, because relationships are actually key, this unification, this hieros gamos, this coming together of the divine feminine and masculine, it's a physical thing that's happening on the planet within these relationships. Now, obviously I know there's same-sex relationships, there's all sorts of different things. I'm talking about just specifically about the masculine and feminine, because it's my own experience. But basically what's going on is that we are having this time now where we need to allow men into our lives where we're in a healthy feminine state. We allow them to give their healing energy, and this healing energy it's basically done in silence. It's not normally anything. It may be the odd word, it may be the odd movement, but just their presence and their energy is so important, and we've been pushing them away. And then what we've been doing is we've been desiring this healing, and we've then been getting it from guys that are heavily inverted, and then that hurts us even more, which means we then push them away more. So you can begin to see how this magic, this dark magic, has worked on the planet to cause so much damage between the masculine and feminine energies. And so what we have to do is, it's about us as a woman, and I'll go into more detail afterwards, but it's about us as a woman coming into our full like 11 plus goddess empress energy, you know, flowers and essential oils everywhere, and knowing that we are literally a goddess walking, while being able to hang out with a rough and ready and allow his energy, healing energy, to come in. And then if any of the inversion comes in on his part, to be able to notice it and just guide him gently away from it. No, that's not happening here. We don't do that here. You know, my house is sacred. This is a ceremonial space.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it came in today. Yeah, like the angel, like fresh new news. So yes.
Where's my essential oils?
And then me and Jenn have done a million lives together. So like me and Jenn, we just are like on the same page. The same way me and Lucy are literally like two peas in a pod. And me and Alpa, like, we know each other just from WhatsApp.
We know each other.
Yeah, we know each other. I almost feel like me and you almost know each other like so well. We don't even
many times.
Yeah,
it happened in many timelines.
Yeah, we did this already.
We've done this already. Yeah.
So yeah. Wow. So yes. What's your thoughts, Jenn? Because like I said, you know, me and you have talked so much about these sorts of things before, but this is new news that I've just got.
Yep, I'm literally pulling up. Well, I thought there was a post on my. Oh, it here's. Okay, so a couple weeks ago or a week ago, I posted, "Hey girl, he doesn't have to be as spiritually conscious or awake as you." And I literally got so many comments to that.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
I got tons of stuff to that. Because here's the thing, ladies, is that we start to open up and we start to do our spiritual walk, right? We start to awaken and go down these roads and start to have different understanding. And we want to, like Amelia was saying, create a sacred space for ourselves, right? So like I've got this big bouquet of like peonies.
Oh, beautiful.
Amazing. My favorite flowers. So we want to create this sacred space. And then we think that we have to have this like-minded man to come and enter this space. And what I was shown was that, no, it doesn't have to be that way. Actually, he doesn't have to be. Just like Amelia was saying, they have their own healing energies. And quite frankly, I do not find really, really spiritual men sexy. Like they've got man buns, they've got tights on, they're like weird at the Burning Man. And I'm just like, no, and they're like super skinny. And I'm like, no, like I really don't want that. Like, no, thank you. So I would rather have my man a little bit more meaty and a little bit more like put some cowboy boots on and like be a stud, you know? So that to me is the healing property of the masculine for feminine energy. And like what you were saying is having the boundaries. That is the most important thing for women. And I think like as we are stepping into our goddess energy, one of the things that we as women, we have to do this. We have to get back into the body. Many, many women, myself included. Now I have been doing the inner work to get back into my body, but I had left my body. Oftentimes, if you experience any sort of abuse at all in childhood, especially sexual abuse, and it doesn't even have to be by like a parent or like an incredibly like
it can be health.
It can be like a one-time thing. Yeah, touch through the clothes and you boom, you leave your body. And then all of a sudden you have body image issues, whether it doesn't matter if you're thin, if you carry extra weight. My skin was the one that reacted for me. So I left my body and I hated it. I looked in the mirror and I hated what I saw because I would always be broken out. And I was always cursing the way that I looked. If I could just rip off my skin, like was so harsh on myself. And I was so hard on myself. And so what the divine feminine rising is really all about, and what the rebellion is all about, is like, I fucking am awesome. I fucking rock. I'm fucking gorgeous. Like, look at my body and not care what it looks like to anyone else. Look at my skin, not care what it looks like to anyone else. This is my sacred temple that I came here to walk this planet and live this experience out in. So I feel like this is what it really is all about. And then we can invite this divine masculine to come in and just cherish what it is that we are. They don't look at these things. Like, you guys, for ladies that have cellulite on your legs, he is not fucking paying attention to that. Like, he really doesn't care. He's looking at you as like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
That's amazing. Amazing. All three of you just inspire me so much, because individually you all have your own identity on the social media platforms. And, you know, having like come into contact with you, I admire you from afar, because I came from a very corporate environment. And Lucy, I know your story. You know, you've set up, you know, helping other people, the self-love club, self-love club. Sorry. And the little beebs and everything that you're doing, and both of you individually are actually going out there to help people. I started my journey, as you all know, last year, 1 year, and speaking on YouTube was something that I was absolutely petrified in doing. You know, all this kind of fad words that were being thrown around about spirituality and duality, etc. You know, it was just quite overwhelming for me. And I just want to add to what you said there, Jen, about the spiritual post that you put on about men and wanting them to be spiritual. That had a huge impact on me, because with everything that's going on currently globally and the way everyone is, you know, mentally, and the division that we're seeing in society at the moment, it's like, well, there's no help in hell for me, is there now? Because I'm like around asleep guys all the time and they just don't get it. And for me, I started going into sort of a bit of a negative spin on that subject about love. And it was that post that had a huge impact on my outlook. So thank you for that. You know, it was just so powerful because it reframed, you know, there's this just like a little corner where I was just a little bit negative about that. It's like, oh, where am I going to meet someone now? Because we're all on such different pages. So, you know, that for me was like, wow, you know, you need to rethink. So yes, never before in my life have I felt the self-acceptance as I have on this journey.
Yeah.
1 year. And I didn't know that. I didn't realize that I had these insecurities that were like coming up within this year. Yeah. And people assume, like when they speak to me, Alpa, you know, she's this like ball of confidence, and, you know, she can like, she appears to be really strong, etc. But coming out all the time, every day, speaking about the stuff that we speak to, it used to be petrifying. And I made myself ill somewhere, because everything that happens to us is a result of self and our thoughts. And whether you know it at a conscious level or a subconscious level, it's how you recognize it. It's that awareness, to own everything that happens to you in a way that doesn't deplete your energy or your mental health, but in a way that inspires you to elevate. So coming together like this, every person that I speak to, you always learn something from them, be it something small, be it something so impactful like what you did with that one post about meeting love. It reframed it. So for me, the rise of the divine feminine is that self-awareness, that self-awareness of the dark and the light within yourself, and understanding what your triggers are, and then being empowered even in spite of that. So
exactly. And what I think we should just really quickly touch on, because we're talking here about the beauty of the divine feminine and how
quite a lot of people, jump on board. So thank you everyone that's watching, that's come. Got quite a large audience now.
And Amelia was just talking about how every single man has got healing energy for us, which is absolutely amazing. I just want to talk a little bit about the toxicity in the divine feminine and the divine masculine, because I'm hoping a lot of you have recognized this, but there is, we have been divided and conquered since our birth, like into this physical vessel. Like many of us have been here many times before, but let's talk about this physical vessel we're in right now. Since birth, we have been told we're not good enough. Men are better, they deserve more money, and there has been this divide, which is why, and I know Alpa, I can speak on behalf of both you and I when I say this, I was the badass on the trading floor as a project manager, living in my masculine energy so comfortably. And what Amelia and I were talking about yesterday was, because I've been locked down for the last year, I've kind of like forgotten about my femininity. So as much as I embody it and I speak to people, like if you've been an alien that had come down from outer space and been watching me for the last 12 months, they'd be like, well, what is this? She's wandering around in her hoodies and her tracky bees, and like she doesn't put any lipstick on or anything like that. And I'm not saying you have to do that to be a feminine, but what I'm saying is we've had this real division. Girls are now being told they have to be the man to earn the good money, and this is the toxicity of a really great quote, actually, that I've heard many, many times is, the lioness does not attempt to be the lion. She supports the lion from his side or from behind, and she is the lioness. And that's what we need to be doing here. And that is why I love it when Amelia and I talk about divine feminine and divine masculine, because that we have roles. And we have all of this energy inside of us, both divine feminine, masculine, and we've got inner child energy. But how many people do you know that use their inner child frequently? I don't know many. There's not many, right? Because the masculine, the toxic masculine, tends to say, well, we're not good enough. That person's prettier. And then the wounded feminine kicks in as well. And oh my God, what Jenn was just saying, oh, this person's much prettier and they're thinner and they're this and they're that. And I've got cellulite. And this is where the wounds kick in. And what I feel is so important is that now we've got a little insight into the toxicity. How do we do the healing of it?
Yes.
What is, because we can sit here and rehash all the old, I was going to say the S-bomb then, but I'm going to keep it clean tonight. We could rehash this message over and over and over, like many, many people do. Like, we've all spoken about it. However, as Amelia said at the beginning, this is about fresh. This is about new. So let's look at, Amelia, did you want to start with the healing of the masculine? Or did you want to start with the healing of the feminine?
I tell you what, I have notes from when Jenn was speaking. Like my angels are they're like saying to me, we're trying to be patient. Just quickly, from what Jenn had said, they were saying that yes, with the self-love, and it is coming into that like full goddess, like 11 plus is loving every single cell in your entire body and nothing less. And then we talk about, you know, when will the masculine come? He will come. Like, you know, the spiritual men will come and they will be sexy. But for now, we work with where we are. And just by loving these men and accepting them where they are, that's going to make them spiritual. Because here's the thing, when you're around these rough and readies, you still burn your sage, you still play your meditation music, you still talk about crystals, you still be the goddess, because being an 11 plus goddess, you can't switch this S-bomb off. You can't switch this off. You can't. I'll be anywhere and I'm still this. Like I can't change it. So that's how we inspire them, not through judging them. And then about the boundaries, it really is when, again, we talk about self-love, but I don't think people realize the level of self-love that we need to have to reach this goddess level, this goddess level. It is literally adoration of self. And when you have that adoration of self, you can then adore others, but it's very, very important. And so that's kind of like, that was just some notes that I got on here. And then also, obviously, when we talk about, you see, look at that wound, the women feeling bad about their self-esteem. Like almost all the women watching have got an issue with something, okay? Well, guess what? That's the stuff that these rough, ready men can heal. Because when you sit there and say, I've got fat arms, people are like, babe, I love your arms. You've got the sexiest arms. Don't change your arms. You know, or I need to lose 25 pounds.
I like your booty.
Yeah, or
your bingo wing.
Yeah. Or if you're like, oh, I need to lose 25 pounds, and they're like, yeah, but if you do that, your legs won't be as sexy. You know, so the same thing. Because what I want to jump into is spiritual warfare. For anyone who doesn't know me, I'm like, my thing is master of the shadow, master of the ego. Like I know this darkness. I know who the enemy is. I know what it's trying to do to us. And so everything we're just talking about is connected to this spiritual war, this war between dark and light that Alpa just mentioned, but actually like going in depthly into it. You know, that self-hatred, those voices you're hearing have been planted here in your reptilian mind and passed down through generations of all your ancestors. Like you are processing stuff. There's actually darkness within, but we can heal that now, because that's what this is about, solutions. You see, what you can do is you can heal the voice within that's trying to make you feel down. There's two things you can do. One, you work on healing it yourself by healing your past and healing it for your ancestors. And the women here, whoever you're drawn to, go to them and ask them for help, because we can all help you. And then at the same time, again, embracing the energy of these men, but see it like a puppy. You know, like when you have a puppy that has sharp teeth and they want to mouth everything, okay? And so it's really cute, and like you'll like stroke the dog and say, oh, he's a good boy, like this. But then when it mouths you and it actually hurts, you're like, ow, stop. Basically, that's how we have to be with these rough and readies. They've been trained to hurt us. They've been inverted, so they don't know. So when they try and do something that's like, it's up to us to be like, oh, no, we don't watch that stuff in here. Or, oh, no, we don't eat that in here. Oh, no, I didn't mean that sexually. I meant like pork or something. Anyway, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So it's about the woman being in full ownership of what happens in her space, and then allowing herself to sink into his space, be relaxed. And then only if he tries to, you know, mouth something and it's like you're leaving little teeth marks, it's like, no. But you see how you don't really scold the puppy. You just see what I'm saying? This is how we have to do things. So what was your question, Lucy? Because I know you were saying about it was to do with the masculine.
Yeah, it was to do with the toxicity, because like you can call it wounded energy, like you can call it many things. I think you called it inverted.
Yeah, it's the attachments.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is we have to get really real, because again, as I said at the beginning, I'd really love this to be for the advanced women and the advanced men. So in reality, guys, there are dark entities like attaching onto us on the outside, and there is stuff working on the inside that we were born with. There's darkness within, there's darkness without, there's light within, there's light without. This is real. We live in duality right now. By us actually creating this unification and doing this healing, this is how we bring ourselves up to the next level and create heaven on earth. So this is really, really important that we kind of face the fact that we are in the middle of a spiritual war. You know, yes, I do have holy water from Jerusalem and a rosary here and sage, and yeah, this is real. It's real, because when you're really, really battling this stuff, it's real, you know.
100%.
So these toxic men, what's happened is they're just men that have been attacked. So once you understand that they've been attacked by what they've been watching, what they've been hearing, how their father behaved. Everyone's been attacked. But again, your job is to love you and allow what's right around you, and then allow the good energies in. And to surround yourself with feminines also are on this path of healing, so that you can support each other. Because this really is a very special circle of women right here. And we are demonstrating, you know, if one of us had a question about something, I'm sure one of us has got the answer. And that's what people need to do.
I have just, sorry, Jen, just to jump in, because it's about the spiritual warfare, and with my cockatoo brain, I might forget. But it was just something that you were saying about, you know, that there's deeper levels to this, to the divine masculine and feminine, and the spiritual warfare that we have within and externally. So there's a lot of layers to this. It's quite complex if we don't have the eyes to see this, or if we get this from a lot of our own trials and tribulations. There's that understanding there, and you get it that much more easier. So if you've had a lot of trauma in your life, if you've had a lot of negative experiences with regards to love, you know, it has an impact, and it taints our sort of way of thinking. But there's also the karmic effect that we have, maybe not from this life, you know, maybe not from this lifetime. So my question to you, Amelia, is that how do you explain that to people? Like, when you go around, you want to change things, you know, you at a conscious level, you get everything that you've done wrong in the past, and you have this awareness, and yet you're still maybe attracting the same stuff, the same patterns, the same toxicity. And you know, with all this knowledge, there's women out there, because I've been asked this question a few times, with everything that's on like social media, how is that still happening, and where do they cut?
My angels had such a funny answer for this. So they say it's like Biggie Smalls, mo money, mo problems, but they say mo memory, mo problems. Mo memory means more memories, more lifetimes, more ancient the soul, the more bigger the mission you signed up for, the more weight you can carry spiritually. So basically, again, we're in battle. So what's happening is, again, the women here, we signed up to carry some weight, and I'm going to explain about that as well, because I have a funny analogy about that. Because again, anyone else who watches this who does similar work to us, because I feel like we're going to have a few other girls that are like doing similar work to us, and this will really tickle them. It's like this: we applied for a job as an Amazon warehouse manager, okay? And we were perfectly prepared to manage 300 staff. We were like, got this. Then what happened was 150 of the staff decided that they weren't going to work anymore. And then another 100 outside decided to start throwing shit at the windows. Sorry, we did the S-bomb, but started throwing stuff at the windows and disrupting delivery service. And so now you're still the Amazon manager. You signed up for the job as manager, but you didn't quite sign up for like this. Because now all your employees are doing double the work. Plus, you've got an attack happening constantly outside, and then to actually get the stuff you have to the people it has to go to, everything is trying to stop it from getting there. So this is kind of an analogy that would explain why those that have done a lot of work on themselves, that are really, really living in their goddess energy, and they're still having these patterns and these cycles, it's actually because there's outside influence. So the same way there's a battle between dark and light inside, there's a battle between dark and light outside. So if you're someone like myself that's literally decided single-handedly they will take on the darkness by themselves if they have to, it just means that if there's any way they can get to me, anyone, whether it's through guys or whatever, those guys are going to be attacked spiritually. And especially if those guys are sensitive, they're going to get hit hard. See, because what the darkness uses on the outside is something I call shadow whispers. It's basically, let me think of the right word. They said don't use that word just then, because it might. Lucy, maybe help me. It's the little critters. We're going to call them the little critters, but I mean the D word, D-E-M and so on. But I mean, we're going to say critters. So the little critters, what they do is they stay right near your ears. So when you hear the voice, you think it's actually coming from inside. And if you haven't done the shadow work to identify, to disconnect from your ego, you then think this voice you're hearing is your own. Well, that's the voice that tries to get us, but it also gets our guys. So the guys that are our actual partner, the one who we're meant to be with, is going to be completely hit with so much warfare on him. It's unbelievable. So a lot of the women that are watching this are going to be like, oh my God, this makes so much sense, because a lot of the women watching know us from Atlantis, They were our high priestesses, or they were part of our individual movements. Like my angels just said, north, south, east, west. It's like we literally ran Atlantis and they were there with us. So it's like, so that's what it is. So you're actually under attack, and that's what it is. And that's why what your job is to do is to just take your goddess energy and stay in 11 plus, absorb the healing energy that's being offered by the rough and readies, while at the same time never letting the rough and readies lifestyle become yours. You stay, it's like you stay living here, they come in here, send in the healing energy, and if they try to do that, then it's, you see what I'm saying?
I love that. You have had such a
Wait, Lucy, sorry, what were you saying?
I just want to say
It just sounded like,
I just want to say something really quickly, because when you were speaking, I kept being told the word delusion, delusion, delusion. And it's, we must recognize, even very spiritual women and even people that have done the work and they truly perceive that they are at the point where they're calling in their divine masculine. Please don't be delusional, ladies and gents. Let's call it what it is. Let's not be delusional. You may think that you are in the point where I'm good, I'm calling it all in, and it's their critters. I love that word. It's their critters that are messing this up. No, stop and check. Ask yourself, is this my ego coming up here?
100%.
We must get so freaking honest that we literally, like, nothing comes out of our mouth that has even a shred of dishonesty in it.
Or ego.
Yeah, delusion is what is calling some people to be in the loop that Alpa was talking about a short time ago. It's that loop that people coming back and they keep calling in the same type of person. Why? Because they're delusional and they haven't actually done the work. They superficially rather than in their cells. Sorry, I had to just
out. Yeah, so there's two layers. So you've got those that, like, say someone like Alpa who's done the work and she's like, why is this happening? If this was happening with her, it's because it's actually warfare on her. They're trying to make you feel unhappy and alone. And my angels wanted me to put the B word on there. They want you to feel lonely and alone, bitch. Do you see what I'm saying?
I've got that, definitely.
That's how they want to make you feel. Yeah. And then at the same time, then yes, there's a lot of women that think they're at this spiritual level and then they think they're doing the goddess stuff and they think they are, but in reality, if you are still hearing a voice in your head that says things that you don't like and you are associating it with you as you have work to do, and you probably should reach out to one of us and get it done, because it's very easy to be in denial and be more advanced than anyone else in your office or anyone else in your friend circle. But in reality, if you are still having self-sabotaging thoughts or actions and things like that, the chances are you are in a delusional of your level. You're probably really at a solid 7, honestly, 6, 7. That's probably where you really are on a scale of 1 to 10. Whereas what we're talking about is living at 11 plus and being able to be around rough and readies. So I am talking about, this is very advanced stuff, but there's a lot of women that need to hear this because they want to know what is next, and no one's telling them because no one's receiving the information.
Love it.
You know, one of the things too, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, that disconnect from the body. So many women are so disconnected from their body. I was one of them. And you've got to do the inner work to come back to the body, to come back and ground yourself into the body. Because if you have any sort of projection around the way you look, the way you feel, all of that stuff, it is going to project out to men. And one of my teachers in Understanding Men has been Allison Armstrong. And one of the things that she says is that we oftentimes view men as hairy versions of ourselves. So whenever we look at men as a hairy version of ourselves, right? It's so funny because it's so true, because we look at them and we're like, why don't you pick up your fucking sock? Why? I'm sorry. Why don't you?
We can't hold these in. We're trying our best.
There wasn't going back me for that.
Okay, first of all, you can be a goddess and curse. It's okay.
Yeah, clearly. In fact, it might be part of it.
Part of it, yeah. So anyway, we're looking at them going, why aren't they understanding? We're asking them how they feel, and then they're taking forever to say it. And we're like, just get to the point, like, just say it, you know? And I mean, that's us being in our masculine energy when we're like, come on.
They do that to us.
Yeah. So anyway, we have to understand men. We have to understand that they are not hairy versions of ourselves. So when we are inviting the rough and ready, I love how you're saying that, Amelia. when we're inviting the rough and the ready into our world, we cannot also sit there and judge them for, why aren't you getting this? I don't understand. Like, why you don't want to, like, you know, do a little circle with me, or whatever it is. Why don't you want to go
flower arranging, paint my nails?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, we can't be judging them. We literally have to allow them to awaken in their own time, in their own space, in their own way. And we just live as the example, and we live happy. That's like the most important thing. So many women abandon their happiness. They abandon their happiness to take care of children, to take care of their job. You know, all of us have come from very demanding jobs at one point in time. And so we abandon these aspects of ourselves. And so what all of this is doing, what 2020 did, was it called us home. So yes, we can look at what was happening, but it called us back to our body. You know, what were you going to say, Amelia?
No, I said say it again only because, you know, one person can speak at once, and Alpa coughed, so we missed the word.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like to miss even a syllable.
So what I was saying is that yes, there were things that happened that were not in alignment with certain things. I don't want to get too much into it. Obviously, you all know. But what I do want to put a point on is that it did give us an opportunity to lean back. And that's what feminine energy does. It leans back. Feminine energy leans back. Okay. And so for me, like a hardcore forward, in 2017, you guys, I traveled probably 150,000 miles that year with my job. I was flying all over the place. I did 52 events that year, flying and doing events in ballrooms every single weekend, sometimes multiple events during a week. It was exhausting. I was so freaking exhausted. And then starting my business, I was still exhausted. And last year, it gave me an opportunity to go, okay, God, you take care of me now. And that is when I really stepped into my goddess energy. Whenever I said, okay, I surrender, you take care of me. This is the mudra for surrender, by the way. So I was like, I surrender. I'm like, I let go. And this has catapulted me into a whole new place within myself, a whole new love within myself, and a whole new ability to lead women that I didn't have before. So for this, I'm incredibly grateful. But it is about being happy and grateful, right? Yeah, go ahead, Alpa.
No, and I thank you for that, because just wanting to add what you said, Amelia, about the inner work and the energy that you invite in your life. If you kind of like use our daily things that happen to us as a test, yeah. When I came on this journey on the social media platform, I was at a place where I really, truly didn't care what anyone thought, because I had my own trials and tribulations. The friends started falling off some time before. It was almost like preparatory for me for this. Yeah, I started looking at who is my tribe, and I realized that everyone that was in my circle was like on different energetic levels. So everything that I was speaking about in the spiritual realm, it just fell on deaf ears. So it was like doing that inner work is so important, to realize that when you let go, what you just said, Jenn, you invite what's meant to be for you. And that's not just with men, it's with the right women, it's with the right energies, with the right female and male energy that comes into your life in that balance. You know, there is just a natural flow of beautiful, high vibing energy where there is, somebody said, Alpa, I love how you make your guests feel comfortable. It's not from a false sense of flattery. I pick up on that energy. I love, because what are we here to do in this lifetime? We're here to love and self-actualize, right? So, and realize who we are. We are love, whatever layers you want to put it, we all are love. And it's finding our way home. And these things that come and test us spiritually, inwardly or outwardly, to have that perception, like you said, Amelia, you know, we signed up for this script. Yep. Yeah. Well, it doesn't give you anything that you can't handle, you know. A healer said to me once, Alpa, you have come to sign up for 22 lives, to clear 22 lives. I was like, you know, and I didn't even know what the hell she was speaking about. And it still doesn't make sense to me, all of that, but I intuitively can feel it, right? So what we're inviting into our life, what's happening now, is that collaboration of collective divine energy both masculine and feminine, to be here and present, to be able to speak like this, because when you own what's going on, done the inner work, and have let go, like you said, Jen, let go and let God, right? As corny as that sounds, you know, we are moving and elevating constantly. And it's the energy that is so important that we keep around us, especially at this time when we're at the height of the spiritual war, because anyone can infiltrate. And that happened to me for these last 6 weeks. Yeah, there was some things that I perhaps wasn't keeping up, you know, up to with my spiritual disciplines. And I realized straight away, I'm a sovereign being of light. I do not consent. Yeah. So
take your power back.
Take your power back.
It is, yeah.
It's interesting. I know it's Lucy next. I was just going to say something random for girls that are wondering. They're like, yeah, this all sounds great with the dating stuff, but like they're still having issues with guys or whatever. Really simply, guys, for the girls, if you're happy and busy, that's all you need to do. If you're happy and busy, it all figures out. It all works out. Okay. Yeah. The thing is that to be truly happy, you have to have actually you have to have fought your demons and won. And that's the difference. That's what happiness is. Happiness is you fought your demons until the battle was done. So happy and busy, and then busy is having them girlfriends and those hobbies and that mission and that work that you do to help the world that you genuinely are doing. You're not pretending to be busy, you actually are. Yeah. You're not pretending to be happy, you actually are. Because these guys, even if they're rough and ready, they'll see through it if you're pretending to be busy or pretending to be happy. They're cleverer than you think.
They smell the energy.
They do.
It's this innate ability we all have. It's the intuitive compass, and you know, our sense of smell. They smell that energy within you.
Yeah. What's quite interesting is something that you just said there, Alpa. A lot of women actually say that men aren't intuitive. It's absolute rubbish. It's literally, it's absolute rubbish. So let's just remember that is the old program. That's the old toxicity, as I like to call it, inverted, as Amelia likes to call it. But you know, we are all divine beings of light. We are all here to absolutely catapult this world into a whole new environment, which is where I wanted to go next about this rebellion. Because what's very interesting, and I was chatting to Amelia about this earlier today, I actually named a business, a movement in 2016, the Rebel Movement.
Should I say what the t-shirts are called? Because then you said that afterwards, because I said the t-shirt is fight back, and then on the back, love wins. Yeah. And then we've called this the Rebellion, and then now Lucy's going to say the name of the company she started.
Yeah. So this was back in 2016, the Rebel Movement. And I kept saying, I was like I'm here to show the world that actually there's a way to live clean, there's a way to be healthy, you know. And I was talking about food, but honestly, the last couple of weeks, I'm like, this is what I named that for. It wasn't for that back then. It was for this. What I used to channel back then was to do with the Bible. And I was like, I don't even know anything about the Bible back then. You know, I'm going on my path to figure this shit out. I don't know. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what it was about. You know, we are here to ascend. And this isn't a favored movement. I want to be honest with you guys. This is not favored. The divine feminine energy rising is not favored with the powers that be and the people that are creating all of the noise around the world right now. Why? Because if the divine feminine rises, the divine masculine is going to have to go back down and balance out at some point. Now, at the moment, we've been living in divine masculine for such a long time, which is why we pay taxes, and which is why we get bullied, and which is why there is war, and which is why there's all of this noise going on. So just imagine for a second, people that earn a lot of money off of war. Imagine if there's no wars, because now we're all in divine feminine energy, and that energy is real up, which is what's going to happen, by the way. What's going to happen to those billions and billions of dollars that people used to make by sending troops to war? This is what we need to be focusing on here right now. Like, this is literally a war that we are in. And it might sound airy fairy and lovely and cute and, you know, sparkly and unicorns and all the rest of it, but it's really not. This is a literal, the rebels are waking up and about to take it back, because that's the only way that we are going to get this done. We have to start a movement, which obviously Amelia has called Empress Evolution, to get this rising so that we can step up and step in. And I'm talking about the men also.
Yes, absolutely. This rebellion thing. Yeah, well, it's so the same thing. Well, what I got when I was at the gym today as well was that this fight back, I want to like really break it down, because you need to think of like how the word's been used in the past by the inversion stuff. So with this fight back, it's basically the first fight that you have to win is within yourself. Okay, so this is almost like, I'm not going to say a moment of silence, but it's like that. That's your first fight, everybody. You've got to win the battle within yourself. Now you are able to do two things. You're able to be around masculine energy if you're a woman without fighting them. You see, because a real fighter, now me and Lucy trained in fighting, real fighters know when to not fight. Okay, most of the time real fighters outside of the ring don't have to fight because no one wants to fight them. Okay, so this is the same thing. It's true. You just, if you look like you're excited about the idea of it, that's enough to put people off most of the time. Okay, it's true, especially in a nightclub, you know. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, we are really in battle. We are really in war. It's really happening, but we're also really smiling. And we've also got air diffusers with rose oil and pretty pink flowers everywhere. This is where we're really at, guys, okay? Because we did incarnate down here for battle. We are warriors. When we signed up to be the Amazon manager, they did make sure that we had the suitable, the suitable sort of qualifications and experience and previous job experience to be able to handle if there happens to be a skirmish and stuff starts going down. So we're all qualified for it, but I am being shown this. It's a little bit dark, but people can understand. Imagine there's 12 people carrying a coffin. If 2 of them pass out, the other 10 have still got to carry it. If 4 of them pass out, the other, I can't do maths, the rest of them still have to carry it. So my point is, that's where we are. That's why it feels a bit tough right now. If you're one of the spiritual teachers, spiritual leaders, one of the ancient souls here on the planet, and you're feeling like, why is this so hard? It's because there was 12 of us carrying the coffin, 4 of them are dropped out, and the other 8 still have to do it. We're good at carrying it, but it's hard. It's true. But we have the solutions. The solution is win the battle on the inside first. That's what you've got to put all your energy into. Don't be trying to red pill your family and go and date and find this and do that and sort out this, and stop it. Win the battle within, because once you've won the battle within, you then are like, you're like literally like a place of peace, a place of sanctity, my angels are saying. I'm not sure how that word works. Anyway,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what they just said. So basically, learning to fight is learning to fight your own inner demons. At that point, you go into mission. The more mission you go into, the more the outer demons, they're saying, I can use the word now, but the crittery things, the more you're out, the more mission you're in, the more that comes at you. And then the more that you're in, the more that comes to stop you from being with the actual person you're supposed to be with. Because here's the thing as well, be open to there being guys that are meant to come through and just teach you some lessons. Some of them are meant to just sit one afternoon in the park with you and hold your hand and talk to you and then fly off to Venezuela. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Some of them are meant to, that's what they're meant to do. Some of them aren't meant to be the one that you have the children with. Allow the healing in, because that's what this is about. Now, again, this doesn't mean you just go and have sex with these random guys. We don't mean it like that. I'm talking about the same way people have to, you know how women, because women have been like burned by other women and then they're not open to other women, you know, the bitter women, you come across them. It's almost like that's what's been happening with men, and it's happening with women. So you've got to open up to women, other women, so you have other women to love on each other. And then when you have that, you're loving yourself, you've won the battle within, you've now allowed women into your life that are loving on you and that are not pushing your boundaries, that are actually respecting you and loving you. Now you're allowed to be around, now you're allowing yourself to be around guys that are letting that healing energy in that you need. And then you recognize who your actual partner is, who's probably here to finish the mission with you. But you can be patient and allow him to go through whatever he needs to go through, because again, he's probably under super attack if you're doing your mission. So there we go.
Love it.
So much for that.
I love that. Can I just say something? There's somebody, sorry to interrupt, but there's something that somebody said. I just want to acknowledge our audience. We've got a huge audience, quite a lot of people. And there's something that you said, Amelia. Andy, it goes by the name of Andy Kazi. And he says that this man is with you and we need this strict masculinity and divine feminine. I like that. It was on the back of something that you said, but sorry, I just jumped
Yeah,
in.
no, because this is it. This is the thing, is that we have to, so as a family, like I said, me and Lucy specifically, you guys have got this too, but me and Lucy, we have some killer divine masculine in us. Like, I mean, like, it's pretty serious. That's the point. But it's to know when to not fight, to know when to lean back, as you know, as Jen's saying, whether that's literally, I'm visualizing leaning back in a park with some nice man with some nice arms and leaning back and maybe having a glass of champagne, and that's it. But that's all it is. And maybe that's all it is. But that energy transference of allowing yourself to be safe and protected for a while, allowing them to ease any issues you may feel about your physical appearance, whether it's temporary or permanent, something you were born with or something you think is coming in, whatever it is, allowing that. So that it's about mastering the battle. Let's acknowledge that we're in battle.
And just what I was going to say a second ago is I really loved what you said about when you win the battle with yourself, the right people, your tribe appears. And, you know, we have all come together in the last 12 months. Whilst we're at war, we have all come together, you know, separately. We've all been guided towards each other through one person and another. And like, literally, I know Jen and I don't speak as much as I do. I speak to Amelia every day, so it's a bit difficult for anyone to speak to me that much.
I call her on the way to the gym when I'm walking up the hill and I'm out of breath.
but that's the thing, right? We have got these bonds now. And the old toxicity says, well, women don't like each other.
Absolutely.
So once
The Empress Evolution just shat all over that, didn't it? and me and Jen used to do a live every week. We did it for about 3 months, didn't we? We did a live every week, like literally every week, encouraging people to go sign up to her program, vice versa, the whole thing. And then me and Alpa have been threatening to get together for like 3 months. And I think it was because this was meant to happen so that this literal explosion of energy that would happen when the first time me and you laid eyes on each other, it needed to happen in this.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with you on that one.
And that's what's so powerful, right? That is, and now imagine that rippling out into our men. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's literally like, oh my God, my girl is like, I'm so proud of her. Look at her, she's leveling up, she's doing the work, she's doing this, she's doing that. And then he will no doubt say, I'm going to level up too, because I'm going with her. And that is what this rebellion is about. It's about saying, you know, we are not going to be divided. You are not going to take my fertility. Like, I'm not going to mention the thing, but you're not going to. And that's what this is about. This is about us stepping up into our sovereignty and saying, right, this is my boundaries. This is what's happening. This is what I'm going to welcome in. And that might be the girls. It might be a guy. It might be like whatever it is. But you are so clear, like Amelia was saying, you know, on what it is that you're asking to come into your life, that you just get it. Yeah. You know, you've done the work to be able to get it. So powerful.
It's rebelling against the true enemy. So yeah, Jen, but that's what I said. It was rebelling against the true enemy. So the true enemy within, the true enemy without, but also trusting the process, because like, again, like some of us, there's still a bit of work to do. And if we were off playing happy families, eating mangoes and making babies, we might not be as useful. So, you know.
I actually like eating mangoes.
Which is why a number of us and our like soul partners are being
I love a mango.
because we literally can't do that right now, because we have to be here. We're at war, you know. Yeah. And I certainly know it with my twin, and I know Amelia and I have had amazing conversations about it. Like, we're actually being kept apart for a reason right now, because if we get distracted, it's not going to get done. Right.
Jen, I think you wanted to say something to that.
Yeah, there's several things. I should have wrote them down like Amelia did earlier, but yeah, there's several things that I wanted to mention. One thing that I wanted to mention is that when you are in your goddess energy, you're at 11 plus, like Amelia was saying, you're going to call men to a higher standard within themselves. So this is you having high standards. This is you raising your standard of what you get to have, what you get to do, what life looks like for you, understanding you're co-creating with God at all times, understanding your power. Then when you are stepping into your power and you're calling this forth, and a man comes into your circle and you have this level of standard, then you call him to that standard. Right? And he rises, the masculine rises, the masculine penetrates, the masculine erects, So the masculine comes to you, it comes to you. And so you call that forth to you. And that is like one of the biggest things that I think many women have, you know, we have been conditioned to chase, or conditioned to wait, or conditioned to, you know, put forward too much, lower our standards, lower our boundaries. And then we end up in abusive relationships, or we end up with men that don't respect us. We end up in situations that aren't for our highest long-term. Obviously they're teaching us something in the moment, but yeah, I want to
one sentence, just that it's you craving that healing. We know innately that the healing will come from them, and we keep trying to crave it, and then we get hurt. It's just, this is this cycle.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And another thing that I wanted to mention, there's 3 points that I want to mention. I want to mention about intuition, and I want to mention about new edges. So the intuition part, I want to encourage you women to really follow your intuition. When you're guided to do something, you want to follow that. So a long time ago, this was probably August, I had a intuition to do a live stream with a woman. And from that live stream is how Amelia and I connected. From that's how Alpa and I connected. That's how Lucy and I connected. And here we are, this foursome, sharing our journey with all of you. I don't know how many people are on here, but sharing our journey with all of you. And so this is a really beautiful example of me following my intuition, and then Amelia following hers, her angel saying, you should do a live. And at first I thought she like reached out to me to do a live. And I was like, you mean with the girl that I did the live with? She was like, no, you. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I had done a live with someone. I don't want to talk about the parameters of it because I don't, Anyway, and I was just like, oh, okay, great, And then we went on to do a lot of lives, and they were beautiful, and such a synergy, and such a great connection. So that's following your intuition, right? And then one other thing that I wanted to mention was that you're going to hit new edges. So one of the things that Alpa said earlier was about coming back around and like meeting these things again and again and again. And it feels like you're staying stuck. I want you to understand that you're never stuck as long as you're doing the inner work. If you're doing the inner work and you meet something again and you're like, shit, I thought I dealt with this. I thought this was gone. It means that you're coming to a new time in the cycle, that you're a different person when you're facing it. You're a different person, and you're meeting a new edge. So one of the things that I used to do, and because I didn't understand that I was meeting an edge, I didn't understand that I was getting ready to up level. So I would meet these things and I would get so mad and I would get so frustrated. I'd be like, I thought I dealt with that. Why isn't this smooth? Blah, 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 blah. And then God spoke to me and said, no, baby, you're meeting your new edge. Like, you're asking for more. You're asking to go to these places. You're asking to have this reach. You're asking to have this mission. I'm teaching you and I'm showing you what's the new edge. The new edge is beyond your nervous system. It's beyond what you're comfortable feeling right now.
Oh, boy.
I love what she's saying. I'm like, ah!
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. So you are all going to meet a new edge all the time. And so the quicker you meet that edge and you say, this is my bitch. I'm making this edge my bitch. And I'm going to move through that. If you move through that quicker, oh my God, you will move through all these things so fast. Your life will not look even remotely close to the same in a year from now, and 6 months from now. Like, this is how we collapse time. This is how we quantum leap. This is how we do all this supernatural things that we all have the power to do within us.
Absolutely.
That's what
How many of us in the last week or two have had a new edge?
Yeah. I just got, my angels just wanted to respond. I mean, literally, like, this is them responding to you. Okay. So first of all, they're saying about the intuition. Obviously, everyone needs to know that they all have intuition. The difference is that there are two voices in there. There's the voice of dark and the voice of light. So it's sometimes easy for us that have done the work to take the dark voice right down to almost silent, to say, follow your intuition, because we're hearing it. Those that still have the dark voice talking and chit-chatting in the background, it's hard for them. That's because they need to do some work. So if you're finding it hard to hear your intuition, it's because you have work to do. That was the first thing. But I was almost impressed. I was like, oh, okay, angels. What they were saying is that these cycles, the reason they happen, the patterns, is that you're actually here as a teacher now. So once you move into the goddess empress energy, you also need to understand that you're a teacher. So everyone here is a teacher, but pretty much everyone watching is a teacher. So what happens is when the same cycle comes around this time, last time it happened, you were a student.
Yep.
Okay. This time you're a teacher. So let's imagine there's some guy, let's say, and I'm going to say the name Craig. Let's say someone meets this guy Craig and he tries to do something and you get frustrated by it. And you're like, why do I keep attracting guys that I don't know. Let's give him some weird thing. Like maybe he's those people that are like addicted to sex or something. So we've got Craig, he's addicted to sex. There's probably some guy who's like, oh my God, that's me, I know him. Anyway, but like, so what it is this time though, you as a goddess, you never forget you're a teacher. So this time when that happens, you say, okay, so I understand that this is what you need and what you want, but actually what you need and want is actually quite unhealthy and you might need to seek some help with it. I actually don't want any part of that because my body is sacred, and but I completely understand. And that's it. So this time, so it's staying in teacher mode. And then Jen just literally just like dragon fired so much gold just then. And then and the asking for more part is very true, because a lot of us are up-leveling, like especially girls that have done my program and stuff, like we're talking about living lives that people don't even live yet on this planet. Like we're talking about living on a whole nother level, like literally having like a room the size of most people's house, and it's your bathroom, and the bath is like a swimming pool and is made out of rose quartz, and do you know what I mean? And you have literally like angels playing the harp in the corner. Like it's like we're going big. Now, because we're going big and we're asking for more, my angels are literally like, more, how do you like it? How do you like it? They're like literally, because that's what it is. Because we're asking for more, we have to keep leveling even higher. So while we're still trying to carry this coffin with the 4 people that are gone, that's hard work, but we're also asking to go to an even better destination than we were originally going to. Now we have to walk uphill as well. It is what it is. Do you see what I mean? So I just love what you were saying. We're asking for more, but we're getting it. It's coming.
That's why I wanted to ask that question of all 4 of us, of who's had a new edge recently, because I don't want people to think that it doesn't happen when you get past a certain point. We are going to get this all the way through. It doesn't stop happening. You know, and some people say to me, and I'm 100% certain you guys get the same, oh, Lucy, I just wish I could get to where you are, where you're so peaceful. Trust me, my life isn't easy. Constant blocks. It's just I navigate them different these 100%. Days. That's all.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that, Lucy. Sorry to interject, but it's all coming back to what you said about being at home inside. What's going on inside is a reflection of what's happening outside. It's so important to be the powerhouse within, but that doesn't mean we don't get roadblocks, we don't get blocks, but it's navigating yourself through the trials and tribulations with the tools and the knowledge that we have as we evolve every single day. Life is progressive growth. Somebody just made a bit of a criticism today on my email and said, Alpa, you should be talking about this and that because you're Indian, with what's going on in India. This expectation of
my dad was born in India.
Yeah, well, there's an expectation because we all go through this kind of identity politics, right? Because I'm Indian, I should be doing something like this. Within the Asian community, it's like, oh my God, this girl is crazy for what she's doing and what she's saying, because it's very silent at the moment with what's going on. So with what I'm saying, I'm considered batshit crazy, one, by my community, but I'm okay with that. And I remember actually announcing that in my first post and I declared that. Have the courage to be disliked. Have the courage to be disliked, because if your garden, if your home inside is like, full of weeds, they're going to keep cropping up on you. They're going to keep growing. We are self-checking ourselves every single day. So Lucy, of course, people who say that to you, it's like you're giving these empowering messages. All 3 of you are every day. And I look at you in a way, in absolute inspired, but that doesn't mean I live in a polarity. I am here, we're all the same. We have a piece of the puzzle. We have something that we can offer. We have nuggets of wisdom. And it took me a long time to actually kind of evaluate that in my head, to really understand that, it wasn't from a place of insecurity, but it was like sometimes I was going through the same sort of car crashes, and I had the tools, but I was never doing this. I was never kind of demising or elevating myself against anyone, because we are here in that neutral state. We're never in competition with each other. And that's actually natural. We all have something unique that we offer. So keeping this internally clean, you can be at home anywhere in the world. Just because I'm Indian doesn't mean I need to be in India, for example. You know, if this is at ease, you can be at home anywhere. Yeah, anywhere in the world, and you're always growing. Life is progressive growth every second of the day.
So the thing is they just say, you know, the more money, more problems, but it's also more peace, more problems. You see, so the thing is, the way that they explained it is, it's just like, you know, again, imagine we're in war. And so the difference is, the more peace you have, the closer to the front line you apply to work on. And the closer to the front line you apply to work on, the more your divine partners are attacked and kept away from you. So, you know, it's just what it is. So I'm just saying, so, and then at the same time, I agree completely, you know, humanity, we are equal, and the ego loves to make people feel that they're superior or different. At the same time, there are people that have older souls, but not anyone, most of the time, you chose the soul that you chose where you are. Exactly. And some people see what I do and they're like, could not do that. Like, even really advanced people are like, don't you think this is dangerous? Like, do you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, we get to choose. But yeah, the more peace you have, yes, your actual everyday, like, yes, I really do make songs up about how my dog is called Heaven and he isn't really, but I just sing about it, and it's just, my life is a bit like that, you know, I'm in my own little world. But then crazy shit will happen, but then I'm back to like, okay, back to singing to my dog about heaven, like, you know. So it's just, we deal with what we can handle. And everyone needs to understand, though, that everyone just has to level up. Everyone, again, needs to win that battle within, because the one thing that is key and true is that the ego and the shadow within is the human condition, and nobody is exempt. Everyone has a shadow within. If anyone says they haven't, then their shadow's in charge. If anyone says they've killed it, their shadow's in charge. So I have a shadow. My shadow was an MF. That's why when I got mine under control, I was like, right, now I can help anyone with theirs. Like, after I got this dragon on a leash, I'm telling you, now I can really help people.
Amazing.
Here's a point that I wanted to make too. Amelia was talking about like this next level life. So I was talking about coming up to your new edge, and you're hitting a new edge, you're collapsing time, you're having to face a new version of you. And Amelia was expanding on that as she was talking about like the things that we're calling in, the type of lifestyle that we want to live, the abundance we want to receive, the type of relationship we want to share with a significant other, the travel, all of these things. All of these things happen when you come to this new edge. And one of the things that this entire society, not entire, but a lot of the society has done over the last year is get into deep levels of fear. Deep levels of fear around what is going to happen in the future. What is going to happen to my retirement? What's going to happen to my money? What's going to happen to all the things? You guys, you can put the pieces of the puzzle together. I don't need to say them all. You're all aware of what we all talk about. But here's how I know that it all comes together to those who are doing the inner work, is because when you hit new edges, it doesn't matter what the global collective is doing about abundance, about money, about anything, because this is all supernatural. When you become supernatural, you play in the supernatural. Money is energy. You play in energy. You play in the money. You play in the things coming to you. You play in the co-creative aspect of this. There's literally nothing to fear about the future. There is nothing to fear about what anybody is doing or what you think anybody is doing to the humans or whatever. You have nothing to fear. As long as you do the inner work and you hit your new edges and you collapse these frames around it, you will rise above it.
Yeah, I completely agree, darling. No, I think that's so important. The thing for people to understand, though, is the fear, the shadow, the darkness is all the same thing. So the fear within, the fear without, the dark within, the dark without, the ego shadow within, the ego shadow without. It's all the same thing. So that's why how they're controlling us. You see, the duality is through the fear. So you're absolutely right. One dating tip I've just been told to give the girls is live like you would if you were with your divine partner. So how you would dress, how you would smell, how your house would look, how you would cook, how you would look after yourself, how you would exercise, everything. Start living it now. Live it now, live it now, live it now, live it now. That was the first thing. And then, like I said, yeah, this fear thing, this is all the same thing. So again, when you battle and win when you win the battle within against your ego and your shadow, you're actually winning the battle against fear. And when you win the battle against fear, you go into mission, you become a fearless warrior, which a lot of the viewers of this are fearless warriors. You automatically are guided to do what you came here on earth to do. You're automatically guided to who you're meant to be friends with. And eventually you're automatically guided to who you're meant to be spiritual partners with. It all just happens naturally. And the ego has to live in the future or the past. It can't live in the present. So by living in the present, taking one day at a time, being truly happy, doing the work to be happy, being busy, doing the work to be busy, having the friends to be happy, being a good friend, being someone who doesn't do anything bad behind anyone's back at any point. And most importantly, when it comes to these men, knowing how to be their peace. Be at peace to the extent that you don't actually need to steal any of their energy, argue with them, take anything from them, need anything from them. Just allow them to just be there, sending you their magical energy by just their presence.
Wow.
Wow.
We're coming to an hour and we could probably go on for another 3. I really felt the energy of what you just said, Amelia. That was powerful stuff. And what I'd like to sort of suggest is that it's been a consistent audience throughout. You know, we've had the same amount of people more or less throughout, and I think it's been very impactful and very positive. Each of us individually have, I'm sure, offered something, something for someone tonight. And I really appreciate this. So just before we go, on a parting note, the 3 of you, I'll start off with you, Jen. Anything that you want to say just before we go?
First of all, thank you so much for putting this together, Lucy and Alpa for hosting, for Amelia being here, and all of us just coming together to co-create. I want to thank all of you for doing your work and showing up and being the warrior goddesses and the example. And I would say to any woman or man who is here listening and wanting to know what to do next, to really begin to live day to day, live in the now present moment, let go of fear. The more you let go of fear, the higher in frequency you go. The higher in frequency you go, the more you transcend this whole matrix. And so the whole idea is to transcend the matrix. And so you can do it. Every one of us can do it. And so that's what I want to leave you with.
Oh, thank you. That was amazing. Lucy.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to all of your people that are watching, and also the people that have watched this back on our respective YouTube channels. Yeah. Really do appreciate you guys being here. And, you know, I say this message a lot on my Instagram, and I'm going to say it again here. It's our time. It's time to rise up now. There are so many people out there about, you know, trust the plan and just, you know, kick back. It's going to happen. I'm saying absolutely fucking not. We decide it's the time for us. It's the rebellion. It's the rebel movement. It is time for us to rise up, ladies and gents, and we need you. We need you to do this. We literally need to be holding hands and going into this war together. Yeah. Thank you, babe.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful, Lucy. And Amelia, what are they saying? What are they saying on a party?
I feel like this was a little bit more me. They're being a little bit quiet and respectful for a minute. But they were just saying, well, they did say one thing, but yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone watching. Thank you, everyone who's watching this, who is out there braving it right now and who's speaking their truth and being honest with themselves and facing their demons, because really that's how we change the world. Thank you, these 3 goddesses. I mean, oh my God, like, wow. I don't know, I'm still a bit in awe of of the energies in here. The message I did get from my angels was, find a teacher, become a teacher. And this is how it's as simple as that. So find a teacher. That can be a book, it can be a person, it can be whatever. It can be a religion, it can be one of us, it can be, and find a teacher, find someone that can get you to where you need to get to next, but then become it. Become it yourself and then carry on. This is how it is. So it's like each one teach one. So find a teacher, become a teacher. Understand, so recognizing that you need a teacher, it's like, you know, someone doesn't just pick up a guitar and start playing it. They find a guitar teacher and they find one who they like and they like their energy and they like how well they play the guitar. Find a teacher, become a teacher. Once you become a teacher, that's when you start being the person who, again, we mentioned Craig with his sex issues. You now become a teacher in Craig's life. Now Craig's life is never going to be the same again because no woman has ever been so kind and said, well, look, I really understand your desires and I really understand what it is that you want. And I understand that you find me attractive, but you know, at the end of the day, darling, do you not understand? See, my body's a temple and it doesn't work for me. So you've now taught this person, but you only were able to teach them because you found a teacher, became a teacher, and now you teach. Yeah. See what I'm saying? And then with regards to staying in the present, absolutely. The present is where it's at. Take everything day by day. But understand that the way to be able to stay in the present easily is to clear your past and have a very clear idea of what you want the future to look like. With Lucy saying about the trusting the plan thing and stuff like that, there's an element of trusting the process, but with the rebellion, what it is the fight, okay? And this has been actually used a lot in the against the Black community. Basically, the urge to fight, it's being redirected in the wrong direction. So it's like fighting the wrong thing. That's why I'm saying the main message that I was told that has to come through today is fight back your own demons first, because you've got to get a grip on them. Otherwise, you're going to fight the wrong people and be fighting the wrong thing. So basically, we're all here to fight, but fight, you've got to, so we're here to fight. So we have to rebel. We have to stand up, but we have to stand up to the true enemy. Whereas when people are still a bit confused inside, they start fighting the wrong enemy, whether it's other girlfriends, boyfriends, they're just getting sucked in. They're getting sucked in and manipulated by this mind control stuff. So yes, we need to fight. And we also have to know when to surrender with, again, into the energy of, you know, of good people. So it's that's, I feel like I'm meant to pass back to Lucy again now.
We do this well together, don't we? You can just finish off my sentence right now.
It's all the out of breath conversations because my whole walk to the gym is uphill, downhill, uphill. So we're like, I have to take a breath and I'm like, you keep talking because I can't breathe right now.
Look, ladies, that was amazing. Did you want to add something there, Lucy?
No, I'm good, babe. I'm good.
What a powerful evening full of just magical energy. I am so humbled.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think we should turn this into a series.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
I'm doing it like monthly.
Yeah. We're so in tune from the white t-shirt. I mean, Lucy, you and I speak quite regularly on the phone, and we are in tune about so many things that today, what's happened today is nothing short of magic. Yeah. 4 energies that are so unique and individuals in their own rights are coming together with that sense of unity, but pure unity. I have learned something from each and every single one of you, even though I speak to you all the time, Lucy. There's so many nuggets of wisdom that I've picked up from this. So each one of you, thank you so much. I'm going to put all your socials, everyone, my YouTube family. If you haven't heard of any of these beautiful ladies, I will put all the socials in the description below. This has been amazing, and I do think we need to do something regularly, perhaps monthly. We will discuss that amongst ourselves. The reciprocity has been amazing. People have stayed on, the same audience has stayed on, and that means that we've caught their attention, and there has been an impact. And I just pray and I humble myself and say, I hope that has been of a positive impact, because I know we're going through some testing times. Life is throwing curveballs at us, and it's us. It's so important now more than ever, you know, not to falter, not to get swayed. Know who's good for you in your life. Know the energy that's good for you. Where your energy is being lifted, where are they being subtracted? And this is so important. We are being given an opportunity, and an opportunity like never before. So I love you, everyone, my YouTube family. Until next time.
Love you guys. Sending you love.
Love you, love you, love you.